Hey Scrummies. Today we are going to discuss about code review best practices in agile software development. Before we start, turn on the captions for this video for better understanding. Okay, so code review, or also known as peer code review, is one of the process under software development. It is the practice of actively and methodically gathering with one's fellow programmer to examine each other code for problems. We are going to look at some of the best practices that may be applied during code review in agile software development. Please do note that these are just some of them. There are multiple types of code reviews that have been introduced. For instance, the instant code review, the synchronous code review, the asynchronous code review, the once in a while code review. Each of these types of code review comes with its own strengths and weaknesses. Hence, it is highly suggested to review every type before deciding which will benefit and it's most suitable to be implemented in your organization. After thorough reviewing has been done, then only you can proceed with the code review process. However, you may try and error in doing this as well. You are not rigidly obliged to stick to a one type only. If the type you are using is deemed to be not as helpful as expected, you may opt to try out with a different type in the future code review process with the agreement of the team members involved. Not everyone could become a reviewer. It is suggested to assign a certified reviewer for the development team since they will be able to analyze the coding much better than the most people. Certification displays that the person has the mastery of the technical component as well as the business features befitting the needs of the coding. Hence, they may even be able to detect something that may have been overlooked by other people. Not only that, but this may also simultaneously encourage junior members to hone their skills more in order to be certified with this skill as well. However, some argue that peer code review may bring out the best among the developer as well. Psychologically speaking, if we know that our friend will check and review our effort later, we may put more effort into the developing process than usual. There are many arguments and opinions about this aspect. It is best to analyze the scope of the task as well as available team player before deciding who should be the best assigned as the code reviewer. Before proceeding with code review, it is best to set the benchmark or the key matrices which include adequate coding standards. This will ensure that any software product generated in the organization complies with the company's requirement. Doing this may also provide clear guidance, especially for the reviewer as for the key components they have to pay attention to. This may ease the code review process. Some of the suggested raw metrics that you may consider including in your list are inspection time, defect count. There are some other matrices that may seem to be appropriate to be included as the references for the reviewer. It is critical to communicate the objective and the requirements clearly with all of the members involved in this code review process. Failure in stating the objective clearly may result in misunderstanding about the outcome of the product. Knowing what a developer is supposed to do will ease the process of accomplishing this code review process. It is suggested that the review process is not done for a long time. Set an appropriate timing for the review so the reviewer will be able to wisely allocate their time to perform the task. There have been many opinions on how to set a suitable time for code reviews. Some say not to review longer than 60 minutes since that will reduce the quality of analyzing and attention towards the detail of the code. It is best to conduct short reviewing sessions. you can review it more regularly in short sessions rather than cramming everything in a one single and long session. That aside, you may also set a limit to how much a reviewer is tasked to review at one time. Reviewing long codes may inhibit the ability to detect any bug and errors, hence it is best to assign a smaller number of code lines to be reviewed at one time. Aside from performing coding that meets the requirements, it is also important to keep in mind the testing process. Development teams should integrate unit, regression, performance, and security testing in their agile estimate as a test-driven development process and automated testing. Technologies have improved. Before proceeding with the reviewing, it is best to perform the build and test process first. Performing automated checks will eliminate the errors. First hunts will save a lot of time for the manual reviewing. There have always been different opinions about doing things manually or with the help of software utilization. As for me, I believe both are helpful and it won't hurt much to apply both at the same time. Nowadays, there has been a boosting rise in the number of software and applications that could assist in the process of software development, code review included. Hence, it may be faster and easier to utilize software during code review. You may gain access to multiple code review tools, either paid or even for free. Some of the renowned applications which could be used in code reviewing are CodeSense, Crucible, Visual Expert, GitHub, Review Board, Collaborator, and many more. These applications mostly come with features that assist in code reviewing. That aside, some applications may also be featured with a unique or a special feature that may be absent in other available tools. Hence, it is best to review the tools before picking one to be utilized in your team or your organization generally. This may not only help to enhance the efficiency of your organization but also boost up and cater to the needs of your team, especially in this code review process. Remember that we are doing an agile code review here, and agile basically defines as chunking processes into small tasks. Maximize the process of this code review in the nature of agile methodology. Segregate them down into a tiny user stories and tasks. This implies that the developer will create small chunks of code and reviewer will also review small tasks before proceeding with the next iteration. This will not only help in enhancing the detection of probable error, but it will also improve the review time. Bigger tasks may take even up to hours, but by chunking the task, this may be done in a mere minutes. Hence, more things and goals could be accomplished within the allocated time. Try not to be too judgmental and critical in the reviewing process. Providing constructive and helpful feedback instead. Rather than making a statement, it is best to ask questions to clarify more on the work of your peers' code. Other than that, remember to constantly provide positive encouragement for the team members involved and the peers. This is not a competition, but something to bring out the best for the sake of the team. Not only with one member helps to review the code provided by others, but their code will also be reviewed. Hence, doing this constructively will assure the best benefit of themselves as well as for the team. There were times where the developers and reviewer will clash in their opinions. All of their justifications and opinions on the matter should be addressed. It is good to encourage all team members to be critical in their thinking while reviewing, since this will further develop their skills and as an improvement in the future. If the developer disagree with the reviewer, you may want to allow them to justify and clarify their thoughts on why they performed the task they did. In the case of argument and clashing opinion, the team leader may need to judge the opinion fairly and unbiasedly. Even if the opinion of the beginner developer seems more viable than the experienced reviewer, you may want to consider what options that will benefit the organization, team, and avoid negative feeling for the team members. Setting up a good and a positive environment for the agile code review is needed to ensure all team members know they are safe to give out their opinion discriminately. Building a positive culture will not only optimize their work before being reviewed, but will also encourage the team members to be more critical in their reviewing. This is especially important if the organization opts for team code review. Besides, allowing other team members to do the review together will help them to see what are the rooms for improvement that they could also execute in their next task. In shorter words, build an environment that is enjoyable for both developer and reviewer. However, sometimes it is also necessary to do code review and discussions on a small scale. You may want to adopt to peering code review at times, especially during the early stages of the project. This will lower the pressure put upon the developers. This method is also more suitable to be followed with face-to-face discussion done privately. No matter what process, regardless of which approaches you implement, it is very crucial to prepare proper documentation. Track every progress made by the team member. Keeping track and record of the progress will help to serve as helpful guidance and reference in the future. This is to avoid your team members from repeating the same mistake again, especially for the simple task. Hence, be sure to assign someone who will be responsible to take note of all of the reviews and change made to the code. When it comes to software development, it is not simply about following agile ideas and practices. The development team must examine their agility-driven coding methods and architecture standards to release software that has a benefit impact on end users, address technical depth, and deploy reliably. This is applicable to code reviewing as well. Implementing agile methodology in code review may benefit the organization in a lot of ways if implemented properly. Although this list comes with some tips that may be helpful for your organization, it is also suggested to get coaching or guidance from experts. This includes experienced users, coaches, attending courses and seminars, and so forth. Thanks. Thanks all for watching. If you have learned something new today, please hit like and subscribe for more similar videos. Bye. Have a nice day.